Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaura Hari Bo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paribhasha Acharya Ashtottara Sutta Shishimad Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitalita Pravishnu Vishnupad Ashtottara Sutta Shishimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Thakur Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Bindiki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्यामकुंद राधा कुंड गिरि गोपरान की वृंदावन धाम की मायापुर धाम की गंगामाई की जमुनामाई की तुलसी देवी की भक्ति देवी की समबद्ध भक्तवृंद की श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की Brihat Midanga Ki Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glory to the assembled devotees, all glory to the assembled devotees, all glory to the assembled devotees, all glory to Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So today we're departing a little bit from the normal sequence, which is the 47th chapter of the 10th canto, because today is known as Diwali, but Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Sanatana Goswami and Srila Prabhupada mentions in the first verses of this 9th chapter of the 10th canto that this Damodar pastime happened today. So I was requested to speak on this pastime. And so there's many wonderful verses that we could have chosen which illustrate this particular pastime. I chose this particular verse, the 19th verse, because it emphasizes the particular quality which is the quality that pervades the whole chapter, which is Britya Vasyata, the wonderful love of the devotee, especially Mother Yashoda, that binds Krishna. So she's binding Krishna and Krishna's binding her. This is the wonderful. So I'll read this particular verse and then I'll start with the beginning of the pastime just to go over some of the details and salient points that Srila Prabhupada has pointed out in this particular pastime. Evam sandarshitayanga Harina Britya Vashyata Swavashenapi Krishnena Yasyedam Shishvaram Vashe Evam sandarshitayanga Harina Britya Vashyata Swavashenapi Krishnena Yasyedam Sveshvaram Vashe Evam sandarshitayanga Harina Britya Vashyata Swavashenapi Krishnena Yasyedam Shishvaram Vashe Sandarshitayanga Na Vidyavashata Vasenapi Krishnena Yasyedam Sveshvaram Yashve Evam Sandarshitayanga Harina Britya Swavashenapi Krishnena Yasyedam Sveshvaram Vashe Evam sandarshitayanga Harina Britya Vashyata Swavashenapi Krishnena Yasyedam Shveshvaram Yashe Vaishnavis Evam Satashtitayanga Adinam Vidyasashata Ajavitam Krishnam Yasyedam Shivaram Vashe Sandarshita Krishna Evam sandarshitayanga Harina Britya Vashyata Swavashenapi Krishnena Evam sandarshitayanga Evam, in this manner, Sandarshita was exhibited. He, indeed, Anga, O Maharaj Parikshit, Harina, by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Britya Vashyata, his transcendental quality of becoming subordinate to his servitor or devotee. Swavashena, who is within the control only of his own self. Api, indeed, Krishnena, by Krishna, Yasya, of whom, idam, the whole universe, Swa Ishwaram, with the powerful demigods, like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Vashe, under the control. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. O Maharaj Parikshit, this entire universe with its great exalted demigods like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma and Lord Indra is under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yet the Supreme Lord has one transcendental attribute. He comes under the control of his devotees. This was now exhibited by Krishna in this pastime. Everyone can please repeat. O Maharaj Parikshit, this entire universe, with its great exalted demigods, like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and Lord Indra, is under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yet the Supreme Lord has one transcendental attribute. He comes under the control of his devotees. This was now exhibited by Krishna in this pastime. Purport. This pastime of Krishna's is very difficult to understand, but devotees can understand it. It is therefore said, Dashayam tadvidam loka atmano bhakta vashyatam, from Bhagavatam 10:11-9. The Lord displays the transcendental attribute of coming under the control of his devotees. As stated in the Brahma Samhita 5:35, Ekopyaso rachaitum jagananda kotim yachchakshirasti jagananda chayayaranta andantarasta paramano chayantarastam govindamari purusham tamaham bhajami. By his one plenary portion as Paramatma, the Lord controls innumerable universes with all their demigods. Yet he agrees to be controlled by a devotee. In the Upanishads, it is said that the Supreme Personality of Godhead can run with more speed than the mind. But here we see that although Krishna wanted to avoid being arrested by his mother, he was finally defeated, and Mother Yashoda captured him. Lakshmi sahasra shatasambrama sevyamanam. Krishna is served by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune. Nonetheless, he steals butter like one who is poverty-stricken. Yamaraj, the controller of all living entities, fears the order of Krishna, yet Krishna is afraid of his mother's stick. These contradictions cannot be understood by one who is not a devotee. But a devotee can understand how powerful is the unalloyed devotional service to Krishna. It is so powerful that Krishna can be controlled by an unalloyed devotee. This Vrityavashyata does not mean that he is under the control of the servant. Rather, he is under the control of the servant's pure love. In Bhagavad Gita 121, it is said that Krishna became the chariot driver of Arjuna. Arjuna ordered him, Senior ubayor madhye ratam stapaya mechuta. My dear Krishna, you have agreed to be my charioteer and to execute my orders. Place my chariot between the two armies of soldiers. Krishna immediately executed this order, and therefore one may argue that Krishna is also not independent. But this is one's ajnana, ignorance. He is fully independent. When he becomes subordinate to his devotees, this is a display of Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, the humor of transcendental qualities that increases his transcendental pleasure. Everyone worships Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. and therefore he sometimes desires to be controlled by someone else. Such a controller can be no one else but a pure devotee. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyatya Rishatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I'm going to speak a little bit about the whole pastime, but just a few points from this purport, which is actually a full class within itself. So, yasya idam sa Ishwaram, that this universe, now a few verses back, just to start this series of universe, 13 and 14, before Yashoda begins to try to actually, she's bewildered by what's going on. She's trying to tie up Krishna. And so, 2 verses, the Bhagavatam says that Krishna is within and without. Otherwise, he's beyond space. And he exists in past, present, and future. Otherwise, he's beyond time. So how can someone who's so magnanimous, so great, and how can they be bound up? So this is the whole purpose of this pastime, to show how Krishna is bound by the love of his devotee. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that it's very strange that you bind up thieves and people who are bewildered by anger and other negative qualities, and you make them cry. But here, you're a thief, and you're becoming angry, and you're crying, and you're being bound up. So how strange this is. And so how strange it is that the Supreme Lord, and especially because Yashoda Mai, in the previous chapter, she saw Krishna, within Krishna's mouth, the whole universe. But out of the control of Krishna, Krishna controls his devotee. There's all kinds of control going on here. He controls their intelligence by Yoga Maya. Actually, he doesn't do it personally. Parasya Shaktir Vividai Vashuyate. Krishna has unlimited energies, and they act automatically. So Yoga Maya, to please Krishna, she arranges these things. That Yashoda forgot all about that. When she was looking into his mouth, she thought, maybe he's not my son. Maybe Nanda Maharaj is not my husband. Maybe I'm not his mother. And so immediately Yoga Maya came. That time Krishna called Yoga Maya. He couldn't let it go any farther. Yoga, step in. This can't happen. She can't think like this. He allowed Nanda Maharaj and the cowherd men after lifting Govardhan Hill, he allowed them to think a little bit like that, just for a little while. Then they forgot about it. They were thinking, we saw him do so many things. And everybody, our children were all saying, no, he did this, he killed that demon, we couldn't believe it. But then when we saw him at the end of this pastime, pulling down the Yamala Arjun trees, we thought, maybe there's no, it couldn't have happened. But then when we saw him lift Govardhan Hill, then we can't deny it. Of course, Madhu Mangal took credit for that. He said, actually, Krishna's not doing, he's just faking. I'm the one that's holding him up by my Brahma Tejas. But anyway, so Yashoda Mai, she's trying to tie Krishna. And why is she doing that? In the very beginning of the pastime, she has dismissed all of the servants in the house. She told them, go do something else today. It says in the Bhagavatam, in the beginning, the first two verses, that they were doing something else, but that's because she told them to do something else. Because she was thinking that they must be doing something wrong. They must be burning the milk. Otherwise, why is Krishna going to so many other houses and stealing? I'm personally taking charge. And therefore she told Nanda Maharaj. The day before, she told Nanda Maharaj, take the cows to this very special place where there's blue-colored grass. And it's very special, and it gives a special flavor to the milk. And that special flavor to the milk, and only special cows can do this. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said, they're as rare as a horse with one black ear. That's how rare they are. I don't know how rare. I've never, bred horses, so I don't know. But obviously they're very rare. So she made this whole arrangement. Nanda Maharaj has to take the cows to this particular place. They have to get this milk, this grass, and then the day before she made special yogurt, which she would churn that day. And so this was an intense meditation. It also shows us, as Srila Prabhupada says in the next verse in this chapter, he says, if one wants to understand Krishna Prema, especially Vatsalya Ras, one should meditate on this verse. Mother Yashoda is churning very carefully. She's being very careful that from this particular yogurt, churning just in the right way so she'll get the best possible butter so that Krishna will not go anywhere else. Of course, the other gopis, the elderly gopis, have already complained to Yashoda. And she said, well, just keep Krishna inside. No, don't do that. No, just correct him. So she thought, okay, they want me to correct him, so I will make my butter so nice that he won't go anywhere else. She was thinking that way. And Krishna was thinking, no, I'm not going to let that happen. No. He didn't allow it. No. Then the milk, she was churning. Krishna woke up, he was hungry. And he was very hungry. And immediately, most babies, they cry and the mother comes after some time. But Krishna gets up. Of course, any normal child would not be drinking milk at this point, But Yashoda, just thinking of Krishna while she was churning, already milk started to flow. And then Krishna came out, grabbed the churning rod, and stopped her from churning, demanding, I want. He's the supreme controller. So he's controlling. Then Mother Yashoda puts him on her lap, and she feels so much affection that milk just starts flowing out, and Krishna begins to drink. And then immediately she notices this milk, which I got, because I'm going to do this the next day also. I got this special milk. I'm going to make some very special preparations with it. it's starting to boil over, and she's thinking it will get burned. And so she puts Krishna down, and she runs over there. It could be that the milk would be burned, or it could be because in Chintamani Dham, everything is alive, everything has consciousness. So that the milk wanted to come up and see over the pot to see this wonderful pastime. Because our milk, it's just there. But Krishna's milk in Goloka Vrindavan has full consciousness. So she came, she turned off the fire, and Krishna became very angry. So what did he do? He was so angry, he took a rock, put a hole in it. He didn't want to break the pot. He wanted to let all that yogurt, he knew she went to so much trouble to prepare this milk, this particular butter, that it just all ran out. Not only was he angry, but he said, I'm not even going to take her what she's been making. I'll show her who I am. And I'll go and steal, so I'll go in the other room and steal butter that has been made by the servants that she was trying to avoid. That's what I'll do. So he was just, of course, young children, especially if they're intelligent, one sign of their intelligence is they're very naughty. If they're not very naughty, it's either they're super Brahminical or they're even Brahminical children sometimes, or maybe they're not so intelligent. And so, because intelligence always looks for an alternative. Real intelligence looks for an alternative. Just like a devotee's intelligence always looks how I can serve Krishna better. So Yashoda Mai, she was, in many instances, it says that the flowers were falling from her hair when she was churning the yogurt, when she was chasing after Krishna, when she was trying to tie the ropes. And Kavi Karnapur, he says that from a pure devotee like Yashoda Mai, when the flowers fall from her hair, they're like shooting stars that beautify the earth. And we definitely need to learn that here in India, that whatever you throw on the ground should beautify. That's definitely a lesson that we could teach everybody, and things would be more beautiful. But it has a significance that a devotee always contributes. A devotee always makes something better. Just like Pitu Maharaj, he was upset with the earth. And by yajna, he wanted to make the earth better. And so the devotees, especially in our Krishna consciousness movement, Srila Prabhupada has established the supreme yajna. Of course, established by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but Srila Prabhupada established it in this movement as the main activity, chanting the holy name, distributing the holy name. This yajna will beautify the earth because people will become Krishna conscious. And instead of being consumers, they will be contributors. We have this consumer mentality, which, on the external platform, just destroys everything. When you consume, it means I'm taking. But when you're practicing Krishna consciousness, I'm giving. So even the devotees give to the earth. That's just a side point. So Krishna becomes very angry. He went into the other room. He broke some pots with butter, and he started feeding it to the monkeys. And Jiva Goswami says there was also some boys present. But he specifically wanted to give it to the monkeys to show that, I'm going to have to continue to steal, because this is just, even he was thinking, even the monkeys aren't so anxious to eat this butter. So he wanted to show this point. So Mother Yashoda comes in, she sees the broken pot, she sees little footprints running out, and this is Krishna. Krishna did it. She was smiling. She was happy. She was very happy that Krishna was doing this. It increased her love for Krishna, but she was also thinking, externally thinking, as a responsible mother, I have to make sure my son doesn't, is not naughty. I have to teach him how to be proper. He's going to take over. That's what she was thinking. He'll be here in Vrindavan forever. He'll take over for Nanda Maharaj. He will be the king of Vrindavan. She didn't know that in a few years he would be heading to Mathura, which Maharaj yesterday spoke about very eloquently, why he did and why he avoided Vrindavan. Of course, there's internal reasons also, that he had to display pastimes which were suitable for people in general before they could understand Vrindavan pastime. That's an internal reason why he spends so little time in Vrindavan and so much time elsewhere. So Krishna was then, as the butter was flowing on the ground, some crows and other animals started coming in to eat. So Krishna jumped on top of a mortar and sat cross-legged. It says in the swastika position, and so that he wouldn't be. He was afraid of the crows. Here again, here's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whom Yamaraj fears, and he's afraid of crows, and he's afraid of Mother Yashoda. So then Yashoda, she was tiptoeing, she wanted to catch Krishna. And what's he up to? So she's tiptoeing, and she looks around the corner, and she sees Krishna. Krishna was looking, he was thinking, anytime, he actually, one of our acharyas said, he actually left those footprints so she would find him. And as soon as she found him, he would run away and show her that, he's great, he's more powerful than she is. He was thinking that way. So he was looking around, he was a little fearful also. What's she going to do? I got a little carried away. He was thinking like that. So she looked around the corner, she saw him, and then she came out, stealthily coming out, and he saw her. He jumped down from the mortar and he began to run. As it says here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada, in this particular purport, Krishna can run faster than the speed of the mind. But, and Yashoda Mai begins to catch him. She comes up to him. Yashoda biyolukala davamanam paramishtan anyata. She's running. She's running. She's wearing a belt to hold up her dress, and that belt was slowing her down. Her her bodily constitution, her big hips. She couldn't run very fast. Otherwise, under normal circumstances, she's no competition for Krishna. But by her love, she was approaching Krishna. There's one verse, beautiful verse, which is emphasized a few verses from now, which we'll read, that it says that she was running and she caught Krishna, but here it is. Gopyan vadhavam nayam api yoginam shamam pravishtum tapasyariram manaha. So she's running and she's catching up with Krishna, but great yogis and jnanis, they're struggling to try to catch, to try to even perceive the Brahman or Paramatma, but they can't. They can never, that's as close as they can get. As Lord Brahma said, they can just approach the tips of the toes of the Supreme Personality of God. Otherwise, they can come to the platform of Brahman. So, and she finally catches Krishna. And she has a stick in her hand. First, she hid the stick under her cloth. And then she pulled out the stick, and Krishna saw the stick. And he became very fearful. And Rudantam Morhur Netra Yugam Vijantam, Satyavati Muni says, Karambocha Yugmena, with both hands, Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur said, actually she grabbed one of his hands, and then he was rubbing both eyes with one hand, then he pulled away, to show her. He wanted to exhibit a certain amount of fear. So that could be taken that many times he does something, just like in the previous pastime. He said, no, mother, they're saying that I'm eating dirt, but actually they're just envious, because I was defeating them, and therefore they want to punish me. So it could be seen that he's doing this to avoid being punished. But actually, by Yogamaya's influence, he has fully entered into the pastime, and he's actually feeling fear. He wants to feel fear, because he wants to be controlled by his devotee. And the more he exhibits this, the more that she will control him. Because she's thinking, she's seen him many times doing something, just kind of faking a little bit so that, pretending so that she won't punish him. But this time he wants to be punished. He wants to feel the full chastisement of his devotee. Just like in his pastime with Rukmini, he tried to incite her to, chastise him, to become angry, but wouldn't work. But with Yashoda, yes, he wants to be chastised. And with the gopis, he wants to be chastised even further. And with his friends, he wants to be rebuked, that his lack of strength, he can't defeat them. And so now he's crying like that, and she's holding up the stick, and she's ready to rebuke him, but he anticipates. He says, my dear mother, I'm guilty. No, I'm guilty. But please throw away the stick, and I will admit my full guilt. And then but she still has the stick. And he says, mother, I will do whatever you say. Just throw away the stick. No. And he says it 3 times, according to Jiva Goswami. And then she throws away the stick. No. And of course, he had run to the courtyard just near the Yamala Arjun trees because there was no one there. So Yashoda threw away the stick, and she thought, now I will tie him. Externally, she wanted him to think that I will tie you because you have to behave. But she was really thinking he will run away. He's near the gate, there's no one around, a few friends, but they'll help him. If he wants to escape, they'll facilitate it. So the real problem is that he may run away, because she was saying, you're feeding the monkeys, you're acting like a monkey, you're acting like a thief. So Krishna said, okay, if you say I'm a monkey, then I will run away. He said that. So she was a little fearful then. So she said, I'll tie him up. So then she began, according to Jiva Goswami, she pulled some strings that she had in her hair. Immediately she thought to tie him. There was no rope available. So she pulled that up. She tried 2 fingers short. She pulled out another one, tied it together 2 fingers short. Then she told the other ladies, go get ropes. And they got ropes, hundreds of meters of ropes, still 2 fingers short. So the amazing thing is that, first of all, however many ropes, they could never tie him. And the other amazing thing, it was always 2 fingers, never 3 fingers, never 4 fingers, never 1 finger. So this mystic potency. Now, someone with mystical tendencies would think, oh, there's something mystical here. But the elderly gopis were laughing. And Yashoda Mai was smiling also. Just like she was smiling when she sees Krishna do all kinds of amazing things. So she was smiling, just thinking, what's going on here? What's happening? And then Krishna has 2 potencies that was making this happen. His Vibhuta Shakti. His Vibhuta Shakti comes in and maintains him as the controller. Just like Satyavrata Muni says, Namam Ishwaram Satchirananda Rupam. The first thing we have to understand, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We have to understand him in terms of tattva. So this Vibhuta Shakti demonstrates his tattva, his power. And another Shakti, Satya Sankalpa Shakti came in, which Krishna wants to fulfill his desires. I'm not going to allow myself to be tied. How will I steal butter? How will I play with my friends? If I get tied up, I can't do what I want to do. But Yashoda, as we see in the previous verse, she was trying and trying. She was perspiring. Her hair became undone. Flowers were falling from her. And Krishna saw this. So in the previous verse it says, Drishta Parishramam Krishna. Krishna saw it, Parishrama. Great effort, great endeavor. And then, Kripaya Asit Swabandhane. Then, Kripaya. So these two things represent the two fingers. Parishrama, the effort of a devotee, especially devotees, not any devotee, as Srila Prabhupada emphasizes in the purport that we're speaking about. Devotees who are situated in pure bhakti. That is one finger. When those devotees make effort, Krishna is defeated. And then Kripaya, Krishna Kripa. The other finger represents Krishna's unlimited mercy, which becomes unlimited. Otherwise, Yayatamam Prabhadyante Tam Tataiva Bhajamyaham. Otherwise, his mercy is measured according to the level of surrender to the Sarana Bhakta. But for the Uttama Bhakta, for the pure devotee, the topmost pure devotee, there's no limit. Unlimited mercy. Jiva Goswami says that mercy is the cause of all other good qualities and the destruction of bad qualities. So mercy is the most important quality. So this is called by Bhakta Nishta. The Bhakta Nishta, the devotee to be determined to serve Krishna under any circumstance, brings out Krishna's Swanishta, his most important quality of mercy. So these are the two fingers. And so she tied him. She tied him up. And this verse, which said, Yasyedam Sweshwaram, in the next verse, Nemam Barinsho na bhavo na shrir what is it? Apyanga samshraya. That even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva and even the goddess of fortune, who is half of the Lord, they cannot achieve this mercy. Prasadan libhire gopi. They cannot achieve this degree of mercy which Yashoda Mai has achieved. They cannot do it. And then there's a special word here, yat tat prapya vimuktanat, in the next verse. Vimuktanat means Krishna vimuktadat. This vimukti is not liberation. It's not just liberation. It is prema bhakti. Vimukti means prema bhakti. This is what Krishna gives. He doesn't give liberation. Just like there's one verse, which I forgot, but I got it here, from Lord Rishabdev's prayers. Rajampatir Gururalam Bhavatam Yadunam Daivam Priya Kulavati Kvacha Kinkarova Ashtvenam Anga Bhagavan Bhajatam Mukundo Muktim Dadati Kadichitsma Bhakti Yogam. Shukadeva Goswami is speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. My dear king, the Supreme Person, Mukunda, is actually the maintainer of all the members of the Pandava and Yadu dynasties. Otherwise, he's your maintainer. He's your spiritual master, worshipful deity, friend, and the director of your activities. To say nothing of this, sometimes he serves your family as a messenger or a servant. This means he worked just like ordinary servants do. Sometimes I see devotees, especially when after they take second initiation, especially here in India, they don't want to clean the floor. No. But Krishna, he takes the position of a servant. No. He doesn't belong to any caste. He belongs to the supreme caste of. He's actually the original servant because he's serving everyone by giving them everything. Those engaged in getting the Lord's favor attain liberation from the Lord very easily. Otherwise, if you perform bhakti with the idea of getting something, he can give it. He can give even liberation. But he does not very easily give the opportunity to render direct service. Why? Because you will come under his control. He will come under your control, under prema bhakti. One time Srila Prabhupada said that the Mayavadis, they're very foolish because they want to become one with Krishna. So better to become devotee because then you become greater than Krishna. Of course, that's not what we want. As Srila Prabhupada says here in the purport that we read, no one, he doesn't come under anyone's control. He comes under the control of their love. No. So when the love is, otherwise, and Prabhupada says that because otherwise people will be thinking, oh, let me just become a devotee and I can control, I can get everything I want. No. Just like I heard in my religion, which has been touched by mundane considerations, that God is great and God is good and God gives everything. No. So I just wanted to consider one more verse here, which is a very famous verse, that Nayam Sukhapo Bhagavan. Not so easy to get the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Dehinam Gopika Sutta. But this Gopika, this Yashoda Mai has gotten this special mercy because Krishna is her son. Whereas Dehinam, Jnaninam, Cha-atma, Bhutanam, those who are in the bodily concept of life, the Jnanis and the Yogis, they can't get that mercy. Even though they're doing so many austerities and penances, they cannot get that mercy. But the devotee, Bhaktatamam iha, yata Bhaktatamam iha. But a devotee can very easily get it. Of course, it may not seem very easy to us. We sometimes struggle very hard, and it seems like I'm not getting anywhere. My wheels are spinning in the mud, of material existence, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, not about wheels, but wallowing in the mud of material existence. So it's not so easy. But this gopi, she got it. So Mother Yashoda was very content. Now I've tied him up, now I can go do other things. And immediately Krishna broke the knots and started crawling and went between the Yamala Arjun trees. And he was thinking at that time, because this is another aspect of control, which I wanted to mention in this particular pastime. He pulled down the trees, but before he did it, he said, why am I even doing this? Oh, because Narada Muni wants me to. I have to do it. These two, they don't deserve it. Let them live a few more million years as trees. They were rascals. They insulted my devotee. But my devotee is so merciful that he has conquered me by his love, and therefore, I have to do it. And so he pulled down the trees, and of course, that was what Narada Muni wanted, that they were liberated. They saw Krishna face to face. They went back to the heavenly planets, lived out their lives, and then went back home, back to Godhead. So, perfect. Of course, a devotee doesn't want that. A devotee doesn't want to let me enjoy for a while, and then I can go back home, back to Godhead. A devotee, just let me serve Krishna, even if I don't go back home, back to Godhead. So, just to conclude, so Queen Kunti, She said, this pastime is very bewildering, that Kompya de tvae kvitagasa dhamata. That this is very bewildering, that this gopi, Yashoda Mai, took a rope in her hand, and yate dashashu kalilanga sambramaksham, and seeing Krishna crying and the ointment running down his face, and then Bhaktram Niniha Bhaya Bhavanaya Stitasya. She saw something, he has his head down, his face is down toward the floor, and he's become very fearful. So she says, Samam Vimohayati. I'm very bewildered by this. Bir apiyad bibati. Because fear personified is afraid of Krishna, and he's afraid of Mother Yashoda. Therefore, how great are the residents of Vrindavan, of Goloka Vrindavan. How great is their love for Krishna. That even Krishna wants to become fearful. So this is the second part. Krishna wasn't satisfied just with being chastised with Yashoda Mai. He wanted to actually allow her to bind him. He wanted two things. She will chastise me and she will bind me. This shows the degree of subordination that Krishna wants from his devotees when they are on this platform of pure transcendental devotional service. So this is the pastime that happened today, 5,000 and some years ago, and so it's a very good day to remember this, especially when we chant, and especially Tadi Yeshita Gyeshu Bhaktar Jitatvam, that the Lord is not happy by someone displaying opulence. He wants them to control him. I offer my obeisances hundreds of times to this mood. This is the mood of Vrindavan. This is the mood of Krishna, wanting to be subordinated to his devotee. So I'll stop here. Any comments? Any questions? Pitu Prabhu?
As you mentioned, and as was yesterday also explained, these two elements of that on one side the devotee does his utmost, like Mother Yashoda, and on the other side, by the end of the day, it is Krishna's mercy that makes her endeavor perfect. And Satyananda Swami one time said, I thought it was really profound, he said, we have to do our best and then Krishna will do the rest. That's kind of a very short connecting this particular, commenting on this particular pastime. And so in Srila Prabhupada's example, that Srila Prabhupada was so highly successful, it came not for free. It was not on a silver plate. Narottam Gupta, who was Prabhupada's doctor, at that time when Prabhupada came to Vrindavan, he told me one time that Prabhupada was so poor that he came to Vrindavan because his business had collapsed and he was staying in Keshi-Ghat. When you go along Keshi-Ghat, there are these caves, no windows, no doors. He was staying there actually in the beginning. That was his first day in Vrindavan. And he had many times, I think he said 7 times in malaria. And he told him, if you don't get a room, you die. And then Prabhupada, he arranged actually the first room for Srila Prabhupada. And then even when Prabhupada was in Radhanavara finally, he had high fever, and he was lying on a straw mat that you can roll together, these thin Indian straw mats. And 2 godbrothers came and said, you have to get a bed, otherwise you die. And Prabhupada said, I will not get a bed. He said, why not? He said, I want to use every paisa for book distribution. Think about that. Every paisa for book distribution. So, Prabhupada suffered tremendously to So this which will start this Hare Krishna movement, when it was very in the cooking, boiling heat of summer, June, July, I was here at that time one Sunday, I was about to jump from the roof, it was so cold, so hot. So we traveled to Delhi, he went through so much trouble. He worked hard. As he always said, we have to work hard for Krishna. And then Krishna saw this, gave him everything in the end. Krishna just carried him a whole wave of devotees, young boys and girls who were willing to serve him and to spread the Hare Krishna movement. It didn't come for free. It was a huge struggle for Srila Prabhupada. And he became successful. And when he was looking out of the window, there was an initiation ceremony in Mayapur, New Mayapur. And he looked out of the window. Somebody there told me, was it Janananda Maharaj? He looked out of the window and he saw the devotees preparing a yajna right under his window in the garden of New Mayapur. And Prabhupada said, this is my victory. And then he cried. The Prabhupada is
this point of Krishna being controlled by one sort of praying, it reminded me of the story of Prabhupada said whatever temple store in LA, after he wrote the book, and he would go to that temple. So San Francisco was much smaller, and we couldn't win in a fair context with the cheating. We contacted food system books on the weekends. So we should look like crazy on the weekends. We expected on the weekends.
Haribol. Okay, I think just one question here and then we have to stop because time is up.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj, thank you for a wonderful class.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, my question is, that in the purport, Srila Prabhupada, it's written, the devotee is not controlled, Krishna is not controlled by the devotee, but Krishna is controlled by the devotee's love.
Mm-hmm.
So could you kindly explain this? Is there some difference between the devotee and the devotee's love? Is it like a bhakti shakti or some other energy? What is the devotee's love that is controlling Krishna?
Well, Srila Prabhupada is making that point, as I briefly mentioned, so that someone in the conditioned state doesn't think, I will control Krishna. Sometimes we overestimate our level of bhakti. That happens. And we think we're here, and we may be like here, and better we think we're down here. So that one understands that one has to have not some sentimental conception of loving Krishna, but one has to be on this platform of ready to sacrifice anything. Even the acharyas made the argument that someone may think that when Yashoda Maya got up to stop the milk from boiling, she was being negligent because Krishna wanted to be with her. But it wasn't, because she was thinking everything is for Krishna. This milk that's boiling over, it's special milk for Krishna, and therefore and Srila Prabhupada says something very wonderful there in his purport. He says that Tesham satati yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dhami buddhi yogam tam, that Krishna gives the intelligence when one is actually unmotivated to know which service to do first. So she knew she had to do this. And that's why. So that's what it means to be controlled by the love. And that love is demonstrated by one's actions and one's mood in devotional service, just wanting to please Krishna. No other motivation. Ahaitukya pratyata. Constantly endeavoring for Krishna without any ulterior motive. So thank you all very much for your kind attention. Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaur Pimanandi.